Así está bien, no pasa nada. Well, hello everyone. As I hope you know me by now along the semester, my name is Miguel Franchello, and today I will be presenting my final speech on the topic, Don't Trust Appearances. The reason why I chose this topic is because not too long ago I read a book called Casi el Paraíso by Luis Espota. And I believe this novel teaches us exactly that. It teaches us about fake identity. And with this in mind, I want to start by presenting who was Luis Espota. Well, Luis Espota was a Mexican writer, journalist, and the president of commissioning books in Mexico City during the 1950s. He is one of the most prestigious and well-known authors of all time in Mexico. He wrote more than 30 novels along his time, and he explored many types of topics in his novels. He talks about politics, he talks about ambition, he talks about power, and which I believe the most important one out of them all is identity. And with this in mind, I want to ask you, or to reflect on this topic. Have you ever met someone that looked too perfect, maybe too elegant, maybe too sophisticated, and then you come to realize that they are nothing like what they pretend to be? Well, I believe this novel teaches us exactly that, about how can identities be misunderstood by the people, and how can this affect your life in many different ways. This novel starts by narrating the story of a young Italian man called Amadeo. Amadeo was a poor child. He was born in a family that had no money, but he was able to move to Mexico and enter high society. And you may ask yourself, how? How was he able to enter high society even though he had no money, even though he had no power, and even though he had no real position in the world? Well, he created a false image of himself. He made himself believe that he belonged in a world that truly wasn't his. And reading this book and looking back at it, I reflect and realize that people can fake their identities. They can pretend to be someone that they're truly not. And as I mentioned, Amadeo in the story was not a wealthy, either an important person. He was just as ordinary as the rest of us. But let me tell you that he was really smart. He understood something really powerful. He knew that people believe what they see. So he created a sophisticated and elegant version of himself. He dressed perfectly. He learned how to speak like the elites, and he even copied their manners. And people believed in him because he looked like someone valuable, someone respectable, someone that could be trusted. And they never judged him by his appearances. They only looked at the first page of the book and they believed in what he said. In this novel, they never questioned his truth identity. They accepted him because we know that as a society we prioritize luxury, we prioritize success, and we prioritize social positions. So that's what he did. He pretended to be someone that truly was not his real self. And we see this doing the real life connection to the world to this day, that people give more importance to influencers on social media. They believe in photos, they believe in lifestyles, they believe in clothes, but they don't truly ask what's beneath the surface. They only look at what they can see. But we also know that a lie cannot keep up forever. And in this case, Amadeo's fake identity starts to become too big, too complicated for him to handle. His relationships, his status, the people that believed in him started to get affected by the lies he built around them. But we also know that the truth always finds a way to appear. And when it does, it can be painful. It can hurt people. So this teaches us that believing and not asking enough questions can lead us to get disappointed, manipulated, or even destroyed by a perfect image that doesn't exist. So let me ask you, do you see the real life connection between this comparison? We see the same problem every single day in this world. Many people today pretend to have the perfect life, luxury, success, happiness, but we don't ask enough questions. We only navigate around the surface and we stay there. So with this, I want to give the call to action to you. What do you take from the book Casi el Paraíso by Luis Espota? From this, you can take to do not judge appearances so quickly. We have to be more critical, we have to do more research, and we have to be more intellectual in a lot of topics. The lesson of the book is quite simple, but even though it's quite simple, it's very powerful. That's why to this day, 70 years after he wrote this book, the message is still very clear. Often what you see is not really what's true. And in a world full of masks, in a world full of social media, in a world full of lies, we need to start to look deeper. We need to start to look beneath the surface to look for the truth. And with that, I want to conclude my final speech. Thank you very much for listening.